The adult versions of them don't even look like the child actors. It's almost as though they spent a majority of their time focusing on the young Rhaenyra actress and the young Alicent actresses looking like their older counterparts, and not so much on the younger ones, because they... I'm so sorry. I know this is super unprofessional. I should edit this out, but I've tried so hard to get through this segment. It's just, they don't even look, to the point where people in my comment section in the previous video were like, that's not Aegon. That doesn't even look like him. And are you sure that's Aemond? Maybe that's another guy who also, no, that's the same person. None of them look like their younger counterparts, but I rest assured, this is the final time skip, thank Christ. And yeah, these are the main characters that we will be having going forward into multiple seasons. So, but yeah, they they don't really, they don't really look at all like their younger counterparts. It's not a problem for me. You may have an issue with it, but let's get to why it won't be. He said, I figured out House of the Dragon's issue. The entire season feels like one overly long, previously on, touching on all the major plot points before getting to the next episode. And yeah, he's kind of right on Aegon, the Joffrey of the prequel, and I don't know about that. My man here looks more like Draco Targaryen, if anything. And yeah, some people will say that Aemon is the Diet Coke version of Daemon, and sure, if you've seen this meme, then yes. And speaking of which, best character this episode, that'll be a debate between Aemon and Daemon on which one gets that title, and I love how the fandom is split between Alicent and Rhaenyra's factions online. And even more so after this episode, which, prepare for that. I love that the whole fandom will argue with itself over which faction they support and why. This level of fan engagement is great for the series overall. But while we're on the topic of characters, Alicent came out looking very strong this episode, and I absolutely love her new look. And granted, it's not that new, but I don't know, something about her putting her hair up is just, I'm digging it. In fact, I would say everybody, for some reason, looks amazing this episode. More so than the other episodes. Almost like the costume department went above and beyond to make sure everybody looks spectacular, like their life depended on it, and it shows here. Now, the weird thing about this episode is that normally I'm nitpicky, and I usually find something I didn't enjoy, but right now I can't think of anything I really disliked. I loved Season 1 of Game of Thrones, and this episode gave me some Season 1 vibes, especially the ending, which will really make you feel that vibe that Game of Thrones is back in force, if you didn't feel it before. But overall, everything was phenomenal this episode, and I wouldn't be surprised if people gave this a 9 or a 10 out of 10. It's a lot less set up for the next episode and more of a natural progression of where things need to go next, and I'm all here for it. Now, before we wrap this up, I did want to touch on a few things, specifically the topic of whether or not they should have included Mushroom. For those of you who don't know, in the books, Mushroom is a little person who serves as a jester for House Targaryen during Viserys' reign, and he somehow is around when all the insane stuff happens, even the sexual stuff. I can't go into detail here, but everyone perceived Mushroom as being dumb and insignificant to the point where they paid him no mind, even during intimate moments, when in reality, he was incredibly smart and goes on to publish his own book of what happened during this time at court. Mostly just dirty stuff that gets refuted by historians, but he's still somewhat in the background in the source material. And in the show, he's nowhere to be found. And I don't mind that. I would love if they address this though, like he's somehow in the back, we just can't see him. But my assumption here is that they don't want people to go overboard and compare House of the Dragon with Game of Thrones, because, let's be honest, there are a lot of comparisons to be made between them that we've already gotten, so I'm just assuming that they probably don't want another clever little person in there to remind the audience of Tyrion, which I guess, but that's the only excuse I could think of why they wouldn't include him. I mean, I would like him to be, like, on the side there, kind of being a jester, maybe, but at the same time, I can also see how that might offend some people, so, And the last topic I wanted to discuss was how long House of the Dragon could go on for, which is something I keep saying in my comment section quite a bit. Showrunner Ryan Condal, who has been announced as the Season 2 sole showrunner, has gone on record as stating that House of the Dragon could go beyond the Targaryen Civil War, which is what we're focusing on now, and yeah, sure, but you need a whole lot of time skips for that, because not all the kings and queens' lives are fleshed out in detail. At some point, you'd have almost a time skip every 3 to 4 episodes, unless they want to do what American Horror Story did, and, every season is its own thing, which I'm actually okay with. You guys know me, I love anthology series, but it really depends on how the audience will react to the time skips we have already when the season is done, and how to impact their overall enjoyment of Season 1, because I do know that some people aren't fans of it, so I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. But guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please leave your thoughts down below and be sure to come back here to tell me what you thought of the episode when it airs. I may feature it in my next video. Also, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. It helps out a lot. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.